Everyone coming this evening to the City Council meeting, and if everyone would please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and remain standing for the invocation this evening will be brought by Reverend Charles Grant from the United Methodist Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we invite you to be present with this Bonner Springs City Council meeting this evening. Be here and inform them, lift up their minds, open their hearts, guide them in the directions that will make the best decisions for this city and for the people who live here and the people who work here and the people who come through here to visit. We ask you to bless each one and all of those citizens that are here tonight. Whatever endeavor, whatever thoughts that they might have upon their minds, may you surround them with your love, uplift them, and may their voices be heard. And may all of our spirits grow together, that we might make this community a great community. For this we pray in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Very much. Move right on to some of the best parts of the agenda in my eyes. And the first order of business this evening is a presentation we have from Waste Management. If you'd like to come forward for the fire department. Certainly. Please come right on up, and if you'd like to bring the young men that are escorting you tonight. Certainly. Boys, want to read that?
Good job, boys.
Hold on. Those are some pictures. This way,
Tell us what you're...
Yeah, absolutely. So, Waste Management hosts a charitable golf tournament every year, and it moves around the country. And in 2017, the Kansas City area, since we are formerly Deffenbaugh and newly acquired by Waste Management, we put our bid in for this tournament, and we were awarded it. And it is a golf tournament that we host that we ask all of our major corporate sponsors to sponsor, kind of open up their wallets a little bit and sponsor that. This year, unfortunately, the actual golf tournament and the dinner event that we were going to have to make all these presentations happened right around the same time as Hurricane Harvey. Our corporate headquarters for Waste Management, along with the majority of our corporate sponsors, are in Houston. So it was more important for everyone to kind of stay home and take care of business. But the good news being that the money that they pledged and promised still came in. I believe we raised over $500,000. Immediately we gave about $100,000 of that right back to the Hurricane Harvey Fund. We've invested or donated about $125,000 to some charity organizations, historical and educational organizations in and around Kansas City. And then also, as was the reason we're here tonight, is we've selected 16 fire departments from the Wyandotte County, Johnson County, Miami County, giving everyone $10,000 for over a donation to our first responders of over $160,000. So it's just kind of our part and our way of really saying thanks to you for all that you do and giving back to the communities that we serve. We've been, through Deffenbaugh, we've been a partner with Bonner Springs for decades. So it's finally nice to be able to give back and say thank you. Cool as this is, the real check is a lot cooler. That for you. You don't want to try to take this to the bank.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. That's weird.
Very good. Thank you so much. Yeah. The next item of business will be a proclamation for Community Planning Month. I'd like to have our planner come forward.
That's what I thought.
Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and the American Institute of Certified Planners endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our communities. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Planning Commission and staff who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Bonner Springs. And whereas we recognize the valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners and extend our heartfelt thanks for their continued commitment to public service. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Harrington, Mayor of the City of Bonner Springs, Kansas, do hereby designate the month of October 2017 as Community Planning Month in Bonner Springs, Kansas, in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. Congratulations again. Yes, sir. Thank you. And the next proclamation is also a high point of the evening. It is a proclamation for the National Business Women's Week. I have the National Business Women's President, I believe.
Yes, you are correct.
Ashley. Nice to see you, Ashley.
Yeah.
But the proclamation reads as, whereas women constitute over 72 million, or almost half, of the nation's workforce, and strive to serve their communities, their states, and their nation in professional, civic, and cultural capacities. And whereas women-owned businesses account for 30% of all U.S. business, generating $1.9 trillion in sales and employing 9.2 million people. And whereas working women should be applauded for their contributions to the workplace and the financial stability of their families, especially during the economic downturn when more women have become their family's breadwinner. And whereas the major goal of the Business and Professional Women's Foundation is to promote equality, equity for all women, and to help create better conditions for working women through the study and advocacy of social, educational, and economic issues impacting women in the workplace. And whereas since 1928, National Business Women's Week has honored the contributions of working women and employers who support working women and their families, and whereas the City of Bonner Springs is supportive of the endeavors of the local organization. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Harrington, Mayor of the City of Bonner Springs, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of October 16th through October 20th, 2017, as National Business Women's Week, sponsored by the Bonner Springs BPW, and urge all citizens, civic and fraternal groups, educational associations, news media, and other community organizations to join this salute to women and encourage and promote the celebration of their achievements as they contribute daily to our economic, civic, and cultural purpose. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Do you have anything you'd like to add? When you guys
Our next meeting's tomorrow, actually, at Kobe, so come out. Get appetizers at 6:30. Appetizer provided, so come join us.
Great. Thank you very much.
Commercial.
Good.
Shorten proclamations. Moving on, this continues on to item number 4 on our agenda this evening. This is the citizens' concerns about items not on today's agenda. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the mayor and city council on the record in the open public meeting. No immediate action will be taken on these issues in the interest of fair and transparent city government. All issues will be investigated, researched, or addressed as necessary and with the consensus of the city council placed on a future agenda. If anyone would like to stand and speak to the city council on any items that are not on the agenda, does not include the work session that we had earlier, but you're welcome to step to the podium and state your name and address and ask us any questions you have or make any comments. Be happy to entertain any comments from the citizens. Seeing none, gone. Right on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening includes the minutes from the September 25th, 2017 City Council meeting, claims for city operation, Public Housing Authority claims, and appointments to boards and commissions. Is there anything to be pulled by the city staff? Anything to be pulled by the question by the citizens? No clarifications from the commission? I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor Harrington, I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Cooper?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Chip?
Yes.
Very good. On to item number 9, Cemetery Serenity Pavilion Project. Staff.
Amber McCullough. This item is the Serenity Pavilion that the Cemetery Advisory Committee has been doing fundraising for and requesting for several years. In the 2017 budget, there was $15,000 allotted for a gazebo, and the committee raised $3,333 in funding for the project to add to the budgeted amount for a total of $18,333. Our city engineer collected some bids for the project based on the recommendations from the committee regarding the size and shape of the structure and what would fit in that area. The committee discussed these options and they decided to recommend a 20-foot hexagonal metal gazebo. It will have decorative railing around all 4 sides, ornamentation around the top, a cupola, and is engineered design. It's quoted at $17,186 for the gazebo. The concrete pad and footings, we estimate, we have an estimate of less than $2,000 for materials, and it will be provided with volunteer labor. The earthwork to level and tamp the site will also be provided through volunteer labor, and we anticipate about $800 or less in engineering. So what we're asking for is a total of up to $20,000 for the entire project, which is above the budget and funding of $1,667, and that would come from unused capital funds in the public fund.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Any input from the citizens? Any additions or questions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize staff to proceed with the Cemetery Serenity Pavilion project at a cost not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
Gee, I wonder why, Bob?
I was going to make the motion.
And because of that, we'll just go ahead and start with the comments. We'll start right here.
Yeah, the cemetery committee has been working and hoping to get this done for over 20 years. And so it's finally coming to a place where it's actually going to happen. They'll be happy. I'm happy.
I think the whole community will be happy. Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Oh, nothing, just a comment. Once it gets completed,
it wouldn't, I'd like to see us maybe bring all the volunteers, including those supplied by the company, to have them come in and be recognized for providing us with some free labor.
In that vein, yes, them are good people that are doing that. They did that other work and they care. So that's a good idea. Thank
There's
you.
been a lot of volunteer work that's gone into that cemetery over the last 12 years that I know of. And so some kind of recognition for them also, maybe.
Very good.
Nothing for me?
Nothing? Vote, please.
Shannon?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Irwin?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I did not vote. Item number 10, a bid award concerning the 40th Street water line upgrade project. Staff?
Hi, good evening, Mayor, City Council. Rich Myler, Works Director. This item award bid to Western Construction for $56,008 for a 1,000-foot replacement of an existing 8-inch water line with 12-inch water main over in Bonner Industrial Park. The remaining 1,000 feet will get done sometime in the future. It actually doesn't make the levy, so doing that will more costly, and at this point, it's not needed. This project's been driven by the development that's taking place over on 40th Street, so we brought the funding to council, but we did the budget amendment. We had a $140,000 earmarked for the project. We're well under that number with the $56,000 bid that you have before you. See, we got 14 bids, so about 100 contractors out there. We still have inspection to do and some possible miscellaneous costs, but we've got an estimated $73,000 in that budget. That will include the Westland District.
Very good, thank you. Questions, concerns, comments from the citizens? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to award the bid for the 40th Street Waterline Upgrade Project to Westland Construction for an amount not to exceed $56,008.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, concerns, comments? Dan?
Nothing additional.
Very good. I like seeing 40th Street in Bonner Springs. It makes it seem like when everything else is above 100, makes it seem like we're a really big street. But this is over in our industrial park, and it's a much-needed improvement, so it'll bring a nice addition to the community. Vote, please.
Early?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Shannon? Reeves?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Next item, city manager's report.
Two quick things I wanted to go over. Item number 4 on the report is just an update to date of the city's efforts to continue to try to engage with the public. As we all know, the chieftain went away about 2 years ago, and the city has really put a lot of focus and effort in how we engage with the public. So this just gives you a quick little anecdote, if you will, on that. So at this point in time, we've got a little over 1,100 individuals that are on the city's Facebook page. That actually, that number's gone up closer to 1,200 in the last couple of days. Below that statistic, you can just kind of see how that's trended over the last year or so. The graph below just gives you a quick little distribution as to the average age of people that's engaging, broken out by men or women. So our average age in the city is about 37 years old, so not to get into trigonometry, but a typical bell curve, you can kind of see how that's being worked out. Also on the flip side of that page is the city's Twitter page as well, that just again gives you a quick little snippet of information. I know we have a post up there right now on Facebook that has gone out to, I think, close to 9,000 people since Friday, just in terms of the reach that we're able to garner off of some of these things by people sharing them and liking them and so forth. So if you subscribe to the e-newsletter, which is something that we're trying to send out with a quick little tidbit of information at least once a week. We typically will do a quarterly statement, just kind of going over everything that the city is participating in right now. That stands at about 536 individuals that subscribe to that. And then also, we're part of a whole other series of typical social media stuff. Again, Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor, which is something that's neighborhood specific. So if you're living in a specific neighborhood, you can go on to that. And then your neighbors can actually share information. If you want to know when the next garage sale is, it's usually a good place to go. You've also got Pinterest, Instagram, and then we are in the process of trying to get more onto YouTube, so you're actually seeing our city council meetings put onto YouTube as opposed to being put in statically onto our website. Again, just trying to improve the ways that we communicate with the public. I just wanted to give you a quick little snippet of that information. In addition to the city's pages, there are some department-specific Facebook pages, police, fire, the EMS, both have active pages that usually go along with interesting pictures of our police department officers on golf course for those days. Just wanted to give you all a quick little rundown of all of that. And then also, Rick passed this out. This is a culmination of all of our efforts over the last 9 months or so. It's for your use. There's also an online version of this for the public to take a look at. But ultimately, this is the city's budget in review. It's broken out following GFOA guidelines, which is the Government Finance Officers Association. They put together a very thorough way of presenting a budget. So in total, the 2018 budget stood a little over $18 million for all municipal operations. Of that, $2.2 million is capital expenditures. Flip to page 11. I'll just run through the middle of it quickly. But ultimately, what we began to focus on about a year ago or so was the strategic plan, and ultimately, we're trying to be a progressive, safe community in which to live, work, and visit. So within that vein, we've gone through and set some benchmarks for our services and how they're provided. So last year, we went through and did a survey of residents, asking them to basically rank our services and compare those across a wide spectrum of cities across the U.S. From that, the conclusion was really to invest in utility services with the idea of putting in a high quality of life or maintaining a high quality of life. So really quickly, storm sewer, we're looking at about $100,000 of increased infrastructure improvement. Water service, we're at about $110,000, which includes a master plan to start to look progressively at how we lay out our capital assets to improve our water system. Sanitary sewer is a little shy of $400,000. It's $390,000, which again also includes a master plan for the same purposes as well as a few other odds and ends. And then also a big thing that came across not only in our strategic planning but as well as the community engagement component was the value that we have in our streets. Ultimately, we went through and assigned a score in this past year, ranking our streets on a whole host of variables. It gives us a good definitive idea of how much money we need to spend and what streets we need to tackle for efficiency and effectiveness purposes. So all in all, our street repairs for next year's budget stands at about $975,000, which is about a $300,000 increase over last year's budget. A big thing that was in the survey was just the general upkeep of the community. We also included $230,000 for a new street sweeper, which replaces a street sweeper that probably passed its time, to say the least. There also is an additional public works maintenance worker that's included in this budget that is a new employee, and then ultimately $15,000 to improve the street reflectivity signs. They have a certain standard that you have to maintain so you can see them. And then lastly, public safety. A big portion of this is the sales tax that the voters have approved. $240,000 of that payment goes towards a debt payment for that facility, our fire building. But beyond that, there's also a little over $400,000 of capital items within the budget of 2018 across police, EMS, and fire. So, other than that, this gives you a quick breakdown of all the changes that have occurred with this year's budget, some good sound ideas about how we budgeted the process, what led to some of the determinations, and ultimately some breakdowns that go through descriptions, budget, expenditure, revenue, personnel, and so forth. So that is for you all and the public to look through. And with that concludes my report.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll go ahead and start with city council items down here. Sir?
I had a fantastic Bonner Springs week. I got to go to Coffee with Cops and have some lovely beverages and donuts there on Wednesday, and then got to represent the Parks and Rec in the golf tournament. We ended up winning, so that was kind of nice. We beat out all the Kansas City metro area teams. And then the fire department open house was outstanding. My girls loved it. And thank you all for hosting. They had a really nice time. You guys put on just a great A event. Appreciate that.
Just invite everybody out to the final week of the Renaissance Festival. It's kind of near and dear to my family's heart because we're participants there. And had a chance to go through the Cherry Street Asylum this weekend. If you haven't been, go more than once.
Is that why you're here standing there?
That's part of the reason, yeah. So, got some good things going on in our town.
Thanks to the fire department, my family was there, a couple of my grandkids were there, and enjoyed that. And it looked like you had a huge turnout that day, so that was great. On the street that I live on, there seems to be a few houses that are becoming quite disrepaired. I'm hoping that city staff can be working on our code so that we could enforce those situations, so those places can be improved somehow or another. I know there's other places besides my street that exists in town, and I've seen some of those, and so those are some things that we need to be working on there. This summer, I think the city did a much better job of taking care of the Spring Creek and keeping it mowed there, but as I'm looking back there's a lot of rock that's back, I can't call it rock, it was supposed to be rock that was lining that ditch, but it was shale, and that shale over the years has been frozen with water in it, it splits apart, and now it's little tiny rocks, and it's washing down the creek, so that needs some repair work so that we can protect our investment of several $1 million over that since 1999, when that was built in 1998. It's been wonderful to have that creek back there. It's saved all of us out there lots and lots of heartaches, and so we want to protect that by making sure that it continues to do its job. Also, I would encourage city staff when we're proceeding with this project. Well, first of all, I was kind of disappointed that the council didn't have a chance to vote on one of the three plans. Putting that aside with what it looks like we're going toward, I see the potential for some huge cost overruns with the 1918 building. I'm not saying we shouldn't use it. I'm saying there's a potential there for some cost overruns because of the condition of that building, and I hope that we'll write those specs tight enough that we can avoid those cost overruns. And with that being said, I want to thank you for all the work that you've done. I appreciate that. I'm done.
Thank you. Sir?
That was a good presentation tonight, and some people that live over in that apartment on Cornell and Murphy, their dumpster, they called me, people are just dumping stuff there. They're dumping couches, filling it up. They can't even put their trash in it. The building changed hands recently, and apparently, when buildings change hands, that's not the way you get these dumpsters covered. I'm on this again, everybody. I got 4 more meetings. We've got about almost 40-some thousand in that fund to do that. I don't know why we can't just go on and cover these dumpsters. It goes back to this strategic plan, livability, enhancement of open spaces. Why don't we do that before that money goes away to something else? Like, what do you think? We could do a study or something with that money, because we're not using it on dumpsters, and it's there to use.
More studies.
Well, I'm just saying, that one over there is bad, and the code enforcement people need to get on them, because the Deffenbaugh's not taking that stuff, and people just dumping it there, to where them people, they got a hold of me about that. Go figure that on dumpsters. And the only other thing I have is, I thought we were going to try to buy stuff in town. Now, we just spent money from Varsity Sports, I like them people, to do our embroidering for shirts. But why don't we let Sunflower do it? I heard maybe they're a little higher. Well, she's in town. Let's use her instead of going to KCK and spending money. KCK don't give us nothing back, so there that is. I see on the special events they're going to have a pirate party on the 28th. Jeff, do you know how pirate talk for Kansas is? Arkansas. And that's all I got.
Sir? First of all, Sunday evening, October 1st, I was invited as an elected official to be one of the presenters of the vision for the National Honor Society. So I got up and got to go up on stage and speak about service. It was a very wonderful, evening. A lot of high schoolers joining NHS. It was good to see. I also noticed that bow ties are evidently coming back in style in a high school set. Then, as Travis was saying, last Saturday, I went ahead and spent the day down at the farmer's market, and didn't have too many people come up to me, but I had a few, and it was a very good, a morning that was well spent. I was going to ask about I go out to YouTube and I've seen council meetings there. Do we have a link on the city page to point to the YouTube portal? I didn't see one, but is there one there?
On the front page at the top.
Okay, so there's one up there. I didn't catch it right offhand. I was wondering about that. And then last but not least, I'm not sure what's wrong with us guys. Gee, did you see see the women are really utilizing the social media, and the guys are like,
About 3 to 1, women to men.
I don't know, 3 to 1 might be generous. Anyway, that's it.
I won't discuss your last point, but I'm going to take that.
Do you need lessons in how to use social media?
Enough said, certainly. I appreciate that, and as part of the mayor's report, a lot has been said, and I appreciate all the input this evening. This last week, as was noted in Sean's city manager's update that we have here, I was happy to be a part of the National Manufacturing Day when we had Congressman Yoder come and visit Southwest Steel as a part of that National Day of Recognition. Sean Peterson was there, as well as our Deputy City Clerk, Chris Brake, and as some of the board members of the Chamber of Commerce. And I think we were very well represented, very well received. Congressman Yoder is familiar with our community, and it was good to see him and hear him speak about some of the things that are important to our community, and certainly Southwest Steel. Southwest Steel has changed hands within the last year, and I was grateful to and made mention of how great of a silent partner they've been in our community for so many years, and welcome the new owners to continue to be a part of the community, and they're excited about that. Also, we had a ribbon cutting for interim health care up at 140 North 130th, north of 7-Eleven in the Canaan development. And they're a group that has both home health and hospice that they'll be providing to our whole region. So I was glad to have them be a part of our community too. They're associated with all the major healthcare facilities around this part of our community. We don't have our own hospital, but these are care providers that will be providing more and more services to all of us and our families. So it's nice to have them a part of our community. A little advertisement about the Wyandotte County Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, which is coming up on November 3rd. And I'd like to invite anyone who would like to attend that. The tickets are $22 this year, and you can see Amber, the city clerk, about that. You made mention you had an opportunity to go to the National Honor Society, and just as I feel very proud to let everyone know, I was able to address the third grade at Bonner Springs Elementary. And
You got a better reception probably than I did.
These young people were very interested in what it takes to be mayor, and I told them each one of them had the exact things you need to be mayor, as evident as I had sat in their very same spot when I was their age as a third grader. So it was great to see those young people and how interested they are in learning. It seems school is a lot different nowadays than it was back in my day. I would like to compliment the city on the electronic sign at Nettleton and Shidley. I have heard nothing but compliments on it. They've recognized it in the beginning that some of the print was kind of little, but they said, well, it all seems to be bigger now. And so it's a work in progress, but even the time, temperature, and date was, someone made mention of how nice it is to see that as you're driving by. So pass that along. I was honored to host the Wyandotte Johnson County Council on Mayors here this last week, and Bonner Springs is also a destination for a lot of people across Kansas City. They were very complimentary of all the different attractions in Bonner Springs, least of which is certainly not the haunted house. The mayors made mention their own families would much rather come to Bonner Springs and wait in a line at that haunted house than any other haunted houses they've heard of, and I appreciated that. Also, the Ren Fest that's going on, coming to an end. They've had wonderful weather this year after it got started finally, and please encourage anyone who would like to attend that area too. I think Sandstone, I said it again. Providence Medical Center Amphitheater has wound down their season. Their last concert was very well attended, and we're fortunate to have them in our community too. So not only is there a lot of activity going on digital social media, there's also a lot of information being given out through every means that we have available, and there's a lot of people coming through our community. So this is a community that can grow in size, triple in size on any given weekend, and thank you to our emergency services, the police, fire, and EMS for all that they do. And they're doing it in a difficult situation right now, but we appreciate that, and we're trying our best to work our way through that. So thank you all very much for what you do. One last note, or I guess a couple last notes. The Wyandotte celebration, Y1 celebration is coming up this next weekend. It's a community event to celebrate the unification of Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County. We all are well versed in knowing that Wyandotte County unified government is still our county government, but sometimes we have to educate others that we're not a city, we're not a part of Kansas City, Kansas. So we're one of 3 cities in the Wyandotte unified government. So it's confusing for new people sometimes. But they're having a family fun, friendly event at the Community America Ballpark up at Village West from this next Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m., 1 to 4, and it's all free. Free food, prizes, and family fun. Encourage everyone to come up and enjoy that. As well as the Arts Alliance Festival is coming up on Saturday, October 14th, here in Bonner Springs from 9 to 4. So they'll have a lot of activities going on, and you can contact the City Hall or the website to get more information on that. Other than that...
3 more weeks of farmer's market.
Yeah, 3 more weeks of farmer's market, that's right. We've been blessed with great weather. Hopefully it'll hold through on Saturdays from about 6 a.m. to noon. And
this weekend will be 8 to 2. We have a fall festival planned. So
very good.
Face painting, and pumpkins, games, cider.
Cider.
Craft demonstrations, cider pressing.
I just found out the difference between cider and juice. You learn something every day. Remember that, kids. Two items I would like to mention. The Nettleton Avenue emergency water repairs that we've made were filled with flowable fill. The one closest to the lane of traffic seems to have had some of that flowable fill flow out of that area and is becoming a bigger concern pothole-wise. And then also the old police station, doctor's office side, that looks like that's still a work in progress, but there's some tree at the back end of the lot that appears to actually be hanging on some kind of utility line. Cable, power, phone, I don't know what it is, but there appears to be one of the trees on it, weighing it down. So I made mention of those. That's everything I had to mention. Unless I had questions, please.
I noticed the other day that some of our barricades were down out on Riverview where the road's supposed to be blocked. I don't know if you've taken care of that today. I've noticed it Sunday. I was out there looking around.
We'll make sure it's taken care of tomorrow.
Very good. Other questions for me? Seeing none, we're adjourned.